Hello there, Commonwealth from The life of the hero of the wild is one of meteoric rise, fall, and then multiple unprecedented comebacks. And on the 10th anniversary of the first gameplay and upload on this channel, let's go over what the latest wielder of the Master Sword's life was. So be sure to leave a like, subscribe and press notification bell. We're going for 5,000 likes. In Breath of the Wild's Creating a Champion, we find his unused concept art, depicting potentially Link's knight father and his sister. Zelda's description of Link's dad also fits. Quote,
"Your path seems to mirror your father's. You've dedicated yourself to becoming a knight as well. What if one day you realized that you just weren't meant to be a fighter? Yet the only thing people ever said was that you were born into a family of the royal guard, and so no matter what you thought, you had to become a knight."
Based on all existing proof, Link was, by all indications, born and lived his first few years in Hateno Village. Just like key links since Ocarina of Time spend their first years in rural villages too. Kokiri, Outset, Ordon, and most recently, Southorn. Our biggest indication towards Hateno is Carson's quote. The old owner apparently went off to the castle to report for service, never came back and never wrote. We don't know if the hero of the wild's mother was alive during his earliest childhood, but we know that his rural life ended when he entered Hyrule Castle in preparation for the future Calamity, most likely after recommendation from his father. Link's noble dad had seen his talent right away, but from which age did Link's training start? It might have been as early as 3 years old, seeing that this is the age when many knights in our own history began their path after being nearly born to the sword. This fits what the healing Princess Mipha wrote in her diary after a 4-year-old Link first visited Zora's domain. At the request of Hyrule's king, a group of outsiders came to greet us at the domain. One of them was a Hylian child of only about 4 years of age. His name was Link. He made quite a first impression. He was curious and full of energy, with a ready smile. Are all Hylian children that way? One thing that surely sets him apart is his swordsmanship, which I hear is exceptional. He has even bested adults.
the future hero of the wild's time among the royal guard was a strict though prosperous one, standing in contrast to Princess Zelda, whose life turned into a tragedy when she lost her mother at the age of 6, and was from then on destined to unlock the holy power of light. While Zelda struggled to unlock the relic wielded by the deceased queen, Link truly proved his worth, dealing with a royal guardian by using a potlet. By the age of 12, he was strong enough to pull the Master Sword, making him the chosen one and Hyrule's future champion against the Calamity. Though before he himself pulled the future as Zelda's bodyguard, he once again enjoyed the healing power of Princess Mipha, though at the same time he was changed forever with the sword on his back. Link, approaching the adult age of 17, was fully determined to his life's mission of protecting the Hylian princess at any cost. Ironically, at the time being, she was one of 2 allies that he at some point had a tense relation with. Unable to unlock her own powers, Zelda began to despise her prodigy bodyguard, a sentiment Link couldn't get rid of. Beyond the throne room champion ceremony, riding up to her when she was investigating one of the Sheikah shrines, and all the way to Gerudo Desert. There, Gerudo champion and Chief Urbosa brought the two together through her feud, a rude awakening, but a needed one as the Hylian champion next saved the princess from the Yiga clan, the traitors of the Sheikah, slicing away Zelda's hesitation. For the first time, she was interested in her knight, and found several common grounds through cooking. Opening Link's heart with food, Zelda learned and realized that both struggled mentally to perform their duty against the Calamity. Link had as a result turned into a near mute, focusing on the task at hand, all due to the massive pressure placed on his shoulders, a feeling Zelda knew too well with the power within that she couldn't unlock.
While the princess put her trust in the ancient Sheikah guardians and divine beasts, Link only trusted his Master Sword. He had seen one of them go rogue one too many times. At the same time, he was confident in his fellow champions, despite his rivalry with Revali. At least his time with the princess was moving forward, as Link was able to bring out the cheerful side of her, and followed her to the springs of power and courage. Link was there both to protect, but also to be a partner to the princess during her horse rides. Still, he also shared a close bond with the Zora princess Mipha and remained loyal to his monarch. He never confronted King Rome Bosphoramus Hyrule over his too strict treatment of his still grieving, struggling daughter. As a result, on the princess's 17th birthday, Zelda failed to awaken her golden power of light at the Spring of Wisdom, the last chance before Mipha was interrupted by Calamity Ganon. Link followed Zelda but could do little about the demise of her father and their powerful but now trapped fellow champions. Everything went south as Link and Zelda, with the Guardians corrupted, realized that they were outnumbered and had to head southeast to Hateno Village, the only Hylian settlement defended by a fort. On the way there, Zelda shed some much-needed tears before entering the battlefield in front of the fort, prepared to act when Link and the Master Sword were at their breaking point. Unbeknownst to both Link and Zelda, they were all under the control of the imprisoned Ganondorf. He finally found a way to begin the dissolution of his captor, Hyrule's first king, Rauru.
In his last words alive, he told the Demon King about the future Link. Hence, the conscient Demon King, having gained control of the Guardians, set out on the hunt after the swordsman, eventually forcing Link to his knees. Ganondorf, through one of the corrupted Guardian stalkers, had his aim set. It was then, when all seemed lost, that the princess showed true power of leadership and courage of her own as Hyrule's next monarch. She placed herself and her right hand in front of Link, a true act of love which awakened the power of light, the possible complete Triforce within her. Destroying the Guardians in the immediate proximity, but too late from preventing the Hylian champion's collapse. The dying champion coughed, looked one last time at Zelda, and then closed his eyes. The princess cried out, but then noticed the glimmer of the Master Sword, the spirit of the sword, fire, pointing to that Link was still alive, but could easily die. She acted with the Sheikah. She handed over her slate and had it and her love delivered to the Shrine of Resurrection, all while she went to the Great Decree in Korok Forest to leave the sword to heal just like its master. The final act prior to confronting and sealing the Calamity for the next 100 years. The champion, now on his hero's path, woke up 100 years later with amnesia, first noticed by the old man, who soon revealed himself as King Rome Bosphoramus Hyrule, Link's former but now deceased master. He had a clear final task for his champion: destroy Calamity Ganon and save his daughter, a quest that first brought Link to Kakariko and Hateno Village, the settlements he didn't reach on Zelda's 17th birthday night. There he realized that the aging friend of Zelda, Impa, had a gorgeous granddaughter, Paya, while Impa's sister Purah had de-aged. Through both, Link was pointed to their fellow scientist Rob.
With Zelda's images restored in the Sheikah slate and the first memory recollected, Link regained his champion and royal blue tunic and set out to reclaim the divine beasts by destroying the blights and freeing the spirits of the trapped champions, a task he accomplished with the help of their prince Sidon, and also with the flight of Tabor, the weight of Yonobo, and the lightning power of Chief Riju. Combined with his strength and skills in the ancient shrines and divine beasts, this led him to the spirits and powers of the champions themselves and the Master Sword, pulling it for a second time in Korok Forest under the watchful eyes of the Great Deku Tree. With it in hand, he built strength while also reclaiming potentially his family home, helping in the construction of a new settlement, Tarrytown, and resolving the mystery of the Sheikah heirloom. in the process impressing Pyre even more. All along with Cass's songs and telling of Zelda's love towards Link, leading up to the last memory which confirms it all, bringing Link back to the battlefield where he collapsed 100 years prior. The time to confront Calamity Ganon had arrived, but first, it is possible that Link cleared the Trial of the Sword to bring the Master Sword to its strongest form, and then the Champion's Ballad to follow, proving that he is the true hero to Monk Maz Koshia, receiving the Master Cycle 0 and restoring some of Zelda's experiences up until the chaotic photograph of them after the Champion ceremony.
Link stormed the castle just as Princess Zelda dropped the monstrosity. The floor collapsed and sent Link to the Astral Observatory. Luckily, the champions wiped out half of the monstrosity's health and left the rest to Link. The Calamity was destroyed, but manifested its next form, Dark Beast Ganon. Right then, Princess Zelda handed over the Bow of Light and the light arrows to Link. He pierced through all barriers, and with the Triforce in her hand, Zelda destroyed the monstrosity, unaware that it was only a creation of Hyrule's true source of suffering. Still, her true feelings for Link were clear, just like 100 years ago, as she recognized him as the hero of Hyrule. But did Link share the same feelings for her? That remained to be answered, as Link and Zelda missed the departure of the spirits of the deceased king and champions. First they headed for and then out of Kakariko village, while Link, upon handing back the Sheikah Slate to Zelda, set out for Zora's domain. Their relationship continued from there, but thanks to the recollected memories, Link was aware of the moments that brought him and Zelda together. Though in the next 5 to 6 years, Link first and foremost remained a loyal knight to his princess, following her as they both further matured into proper adulthood, assisting her along the way in her restoration projects, building schools, commemorating the fallen, expanding Tarry Town, and together enjoying quality time along the shores of Lorelin Village. In the same time frame, Zelda moved into what might have been Link's childhood home in Hateno, and thanks to the Japanese original text, we more or less know that this house was shared. It was not just Zelda's, though she did some redecorating, as they couldn't live in Link's arsenal. At the same time, Zelda and Link spent more and more time overseeing the construction of Lookout Landing, which Purah, now capable of aging herself back to her prime, was appointed head of by Princess Zelda. In return, Robbie developed, and then Purah handed Zelda her new Purah Pad.
Primarily to investigate Zelda's new passion project, the Zonai. Speaking of, what remained of King Raru's grip on Ganondorf was almost gone, and malice returned to the surface of Hyrule in its new, more concentrated form. A new threat zapping away the life force that brought Link and Zelda back to the Great Deku Tree to pull the regenerated Master Sword, before entering the forbidden depths of Hyrule Castle, the sealing grounds where Raru awaited the Chosen's arrival. But first, Link demonstrated that he is the best defender for Zelda. There was only one, dehydrated obstacle at the end of the trail, the Demon King. Raru dropped his hand, and from it the Secret Stone fell to Zelda, leaving Link to confront Ganondorf. Not even at full health could Link conquer the gloom, as he once again endured excruciating pain as his right arm was literally burnt off by gloom. Worse still, his health and stamina was drained back to its starting point in the Shrine of Resurrection years ago. The Master Sword was shattered, and Link and Zelda could only witness the rise of Ganondorf. With his burst of gloom, the Demon King initiated the upheaval, causing Hyrule Castle to rise. Though that was all, as he fell down and caused a cave-in that brought Zelda down towards him. Link dove after the falling princess, missing her by a few inches, and could only watch as Zelda was recalled to the distant past by her new Time Stone. The hero would have fallen to his death if Raru's arm didn't get hold of him.
Link ascended up to the top layer, from which rocks and pieces of land fell down, including on Kakariko. Caves and chasms to the depths opened. The Blood Moon of the Demon King resurrected his army and conquered Lorelin Village, which was burned and occupied, leaving it to the hero to be liberated. Meanwhile, Link's infected arm was replaced by Raru's as he woke up on Great Sky Island. Upon making his first dive in the sky, he was gifted the Purapad, left behind by Zelda in the distant past, and the power to ascend, fuse, Ultra Hand, and finally recall at the original Temple of Time. He then heeded the call from Fi, sending the Master Sword to Zelda in the distant past. Just then, the Light Dragon opened the path to the surface and Lookout Land. Here, Link learned that someone who looked like the princess had a bad influence on the people and land of Hyrule, plus that the Rito, Zora, Gorons, and Gerudo were once again plagued. Purah granted Link the paraglider to launch from the Skyview Towers and map Hyrule. The hero then once again met Impa, who now, after resigning from her position as chief of her tribe, was investigating the mysterious geoglyphs containing dragon tears, each revealing Zelda's memories and more of her feelings for Link. These had been detailed and mapped by the ancient Hylians in the Forgotten Temple. The sky and the surface offered a lot, but so did the chasms leading into the depths, where Link initially teamed up with Robbie to investigate statues. Back on the surface though, Link started work with Pen to bring the news. Still, Pen was no Cos, who was missing. At the same time, the key to progress and strength was in Raru's arm, to enter the First King's and his Queen Sonia's Shrines of Light, and then to unite with Teba's son, who pushed Link forward as Teba had to guard Rito Village as its new elder.
Together, Link and Tulin conquered the Wind Temple and shot down Kolgara. Tulin became the Sage of Wind and claimed one of the secret stones while Link shared his power. The hero then set off to break imposter Zelda's hold on Yunobo, brought him down to the depths and to the Fire Temple. There they crushed Marbled Goma, and Yunobo became the new Sage of Fire. Still, nothing could prepare Link for Sidon's fiancé and the suffering of Zora's domain. Sludge brought down by Muktarok and the Sludge-like. The latter had knocked out King Dorephan, leaving the monster to Link and Sidon to defeat. Together, they then opened a path to the ancient Zora waterworks, and from there up to the water temple itself in the low-gravity section of the sky. Muktarok was washed away. Sidon became the Sage of Water and then King of the Zora after the abdication of his father. With the difficult path, Link arrived at a Gerudo town in crisis. Taking command with Riju, they repel the Gibdo attacks and then storm through the Lightning Temple, frying the Queen Bug in the process. Riju, like in Tulin, Yunobo, and King Sidon's cases, became a sage and wielder of one of the secret stones, while Link became the Lord of the Rings. The hero of the wild and gradually Tears had done it, but almost shed a tear himself after witnessing Princess Zelda's sacrifice in the final tear dropped by her current form. The Master Sword was with her in the sky, making it clear that the Zelda showing up and then disappearing across the land was an imposter, and the others were disguised Yiga imitations. To take revenge, Link then pulled the Uno reverse card in their hideout and made his way down to the depths, where he defeated Master Koga and his vehicles. He then navigated from here to Korok Forest, as the path above had been cursed. But by whom?
Gloomspores, but in truth, Phantom Ganon. Link dealt with both. In recognition, the Great Deku Tree told Link that the time had arrived to claim the Master Sword. It was planted in the golden locks of the Light Dragon, Zelda's ultimate sacrifice for Link, and the hero had been through enough shrines to have the stamina to hold onto it and finally pull it. Coming down from Great Sky Island, Link entered a lookout landing in Turbo. Gloom surrounded Hyrule Castle, all orchestrated by imposter Zelda, before Ganondorf finally demonstrated that Zelda was a puppet all along, and replaced her with Phantom Ganon. When that failed, he threw it all, but the sages arrived in Link's hour of need. Still, one sage and ring was missing in the line, but where? After some help from the new chief of Kakariko, Paya, and the Zonai researcher Taro, Link reached Dragonhead. From here, the spirit of Minoru called out to Link, and with the head of the construct, directed him to Faron's Steps and the construct factory. There he assembled Minoru a new body and used it to crush the corrupted. The last Zonai, who had been hiding in the Purapad all along, informed Link about her and Zelda's lengthy mission, and thanks to his heroic deed, it was almost at its end.
One more team up with the sages against the army of the Demon King before the hour of destiny struck. The rehydration was complete, and all of a sudden, the King of Evil who wanted to rule with an iron fist towered above Link, though not for long thanks to the Master Sword. The arrival of Link's friends and Minoru's constructs infuriated him even more, so he excluded them from this duel. Well, slaughter, as Link had fusions and reflexes to match when the Demon King tried to flurry rush the hero. The Source of Gloom was cornered, but refused to accept defeat. He swallowed the stolen Zonai Stone from Hyrule's first queen, turned into the Demon Dragon, and caught Link between his teeth. There in the sky, the Demon Dragon was hit by the Light Dragon, and Link could pull the Master Sword one final time to finish what Zelda and Rauru couldn't in the distant past.
Step by step, the hero made his way to the crown and stolen tear and pulled out the Master Sword, crushing the secret stone, and with it, the source of all suffering was gone. But what about Link's hope to live with Zelda? The spirits of King Rauru and his queen Sonia had the answer. They would not allow Link to have a tragedy anywhere close to that of the hero of time. As a result, they combined the last of their powers through Link, and through this final gift, aided Link in recalling Zelda and his original arm back. Even so, with the departure of the spirits of the original royals, Zelda was plummeting to the surface. This time though, her knight, hero, and love didn't only dive after her, but put an end to having the princess taken away from him time and time again. He caught her hand and embraced her as they hit the lake below. Zelda, surprised that she was back to her true self, could finally thank her hero and partner for life for getting rid of all of Hyrule's suffering, exclaiming in mutual feelings in the original Japanese.
Tadaima! Link!
But in a way that is only reserved for family and loved ones. Link and Zelda were back together, and this time for good, ready to lead Hyrule. But first, they followed Minoru's spirit to give her a worthy send-off in Great Sky Island, also that the last Zonai could join her brother and Queen Sonia. Though prior to letting herself go, she witnessed as Link and the remaining new sages swore their lifelong support to the next monarch of Hyrule, sharing their life together, including from potentially their much more spacious new home in Terra. But what do you think the hero of the Wild's life was like? Sound off in the comment section down below. Last but not least, a big thanks to you for watching, and to all our patreon.com/CommonRealm patrons, including raw producers, Zach Johnson and JC Funk, and heroes Holly Wolf, Cheryl, and Garrett Hall. You rock, and please enjoy one or both of these two awesome videos.